So yeah, as mentioned, we are a solar, PV solar and battery installer representative for the Solarize program here in Mendon-Upton. We were founded in 2015. We're a family and veteran-owned company. A couple of our owners are here on the call this evening. Bob Kiley and Mark Kiley are actually brothers. We'll let them debate the decision to work with their brother, but to each their own. And a veteran-owned, proud to say, both Mark and Eric, who was unable to join us tonight, are both veterans, and very proud of that fact. Small local business. I'd like to key in on the local business. We're all here in Massachusetts, work here in Massachusetts, and we're here to stay in Massachusetts. So we've also been ranked the #1 residential solar contractor in Massachusetts for 4 years in a row. It was just announced this last week, so very proud to mention that as well. ACE, we say we're born from experience, and this is kind of a little insight as to why. The kind of core group of the company here have been in solar for, I would say, as long as solar is around. Maybe they can argue that, but you know, we've been around and seen a lot in the solar industry, so some true industry veterans here, you know, behind your installation. For the Solarize program, so we're offering, basically what it comes down to is about a 25%, around 25% anyways, discount on solar. You know, we're offering Tier 1 panels, really the same equipment that we, you know, offer to all of our customers, but through this program, you know, you really have access to a really great discount on top of the great incentives there are for going solar, which we'll get into as well. And in addition to the panels, we also are offering the LG battery backup systems as well. For PV solar, so, I mean, installing solar on your home, there's really a lot of benefits to it, but some of the key ones are lowering or even eliminating your electric bill, you know, lowering your carbon footprint, or really increasing the value of your home. You know, there's some studies can show one way or the other, but the way I think about it, if you're purchasing a home and doesn't come with an electric bill, it's a pretty big benefit. And then you're protecting yourself from that rising cost of electricity. We see, you know, the cost of electricity going up and up and up, and you know, this is one way to make it for your own and kind of insulate yourself from that. Let's see. Next, talk about batteries. So Corey Myregs, our senior solar consultant, has also joined us here. And Corey, if you want to touch a little bit on kind of the battery offerings, do you mind?
Yeah, so you know, batteries can be integrated with you know, traditional PV solar. Give you that. I think Carolyn made it mentioned right in the beginning here, just to give you a little bit of power when the grid fails you, which you know, we all know here in New England can happen from time to time. As part of our service, we do a whole wiring of whatever emergency loads you feel are important and you want backed up with battery. Very customized solution. Every house is going to have different kind of priority on what they want, you know, energy going to when the grid is down. A well pump, a refrigerator, a couple outlets for charge your phone, your modem, things like that. When you install a battery, you get there's a higher incentive rate paid out through the SMART program. You get to take advantage of the federal tax credit when it's installed with a solar system. There's also a new utility scale incentive called the Connected Solutions, which is a voluntary program. Not everybody likes to partake in it, but essentially National Grid will pay you out for 5 years for being able to draw from your battery during set times. So there's, you know, not only by protecting yourself during power outages, there's ways to actually, you know, pay yourself back for the majority of the upfront cost of the battery. Yeah, that's, you know, that's kind of a quick overview of how batteries are benefiting homeowners, and you know, we can go into it obviously in more detail on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, definitely, and I should have mentioned previously as well. I mean, I kind of set this up so we can take through some of the information and you know, go through, open to all questions and answers towards the end as well. I just wanted to give an overview, so thank you for that, Corey. maybe have you chime in too here, but kind of wanted to take through everybody through really the process of finding out, if you have viable property for solar. It's really easy. Basically, all we need is the address. We can pull it up on Google Maps or using satellite imagery, and from there be able to tell or get a pretty good idea of how much energy could be generated on the site on your roof. Get good measurements, how many panels could fit, and there's a couple things that we're looking at that we like to go through with every case. Anyways, is looking at shading. Certainly, if there's some trees overhanging some of the better roof planes for solar panels, then we look at either trimming or kind of tying those back. We look at your average electric bill. I think another key component to this is a very customized approach. I mean, it's very consultative. We're here to educate and really help you understand what the benefits are and what the system is going to do for you. So with your electric bill, we can look back over the past year, get a good idea of what your energy usage is like, how it fluctuates, and then design a system that really meets your needs, given your electric usage. With that, we also talk through kind of the future as well, because you certainly want to insulate yourself from that. So if you're looking at purchasing maybe an electric vehicle, hint, check out the website. Or maybe you're looking at adding a pool in the future, or just anticipating more energy usage in the future. That's something we'll take into consideration and try to size kind of appropriately for that. And one of the other things, obviously, if we're installing on the roof, is your roof, how old is your roof? The age of your roof is a big thing. There's a 25-year warranty on the majority of the panels that we offer. Usually systems are lasting around 30 years. So with that, if you're looking at replacing your roof, or if your roof is in maybe a couple years away from replacing, something to consider prior to installation. Certainly, there's ways to uninstall and reinstall, but as you can imagine, there's some kind of cost and labor that goes into that. So always key to think about it ahead of time. And from there, we go into creating a design and then a proposal to lay out all of the details of your system. So actually, I did have an example here I was going to share. Actually, probably one of the first folks from the town, I believe he was in Mendon. Oh yeah, right there. Mendon resident reached out. We were happy to prepare, design, and an estimate for his property. As you can see on the left here, again, using the satellite image, we're able to make pretty accurate measurements and then estimate how many panels we'd be able to fit in that given area. We can also might be able to see there, take into consideration, obstruction. So if you have a chimney or some vents there, we can also take that. And then from there, we're able to create a full proposal. With this helioscope design, we're able to estimate the system power, how big the system will be, and then with the proposal, we're able to show you, the breakdown of how much it could generate, the incentives, and whatnot. So let me show you that. I will note too, before we even get to the pricing section, Corey maybe can provide some light on this conversation, but in discussing with your fellow resident here, he had received a proposal from another company. We don't want to name names, but I believe it ended up being more than half, or less than half of the anticipated cost of what he was looking at previously.
It was close. It wasn't half, but
okay.
It was just shy of a $20,000 difference for the same size system.
Wow.
So yeah, that just gives you an idea of the value of what we're up against. I actually spoke to him today and asked him if I could use these numbers as an example for this meeting.
Yeah.
He was more than happy to oblige, and was very proud of his price saving. He probably will, buy a boat or something with that 18 grand.
Yeah.
So,
there's a lot of other things, or maybe some heat pumps, or who knows, maybe indulge in some of the other technologies here. Right?
There you go. Yeah. But yeah, point being, shop it around. Like, these prices are for real. They're,
yes.
Of the 3 solarized programs I've been involved in, and Ace Solar recently, by far the best, most aggressive pricing. So take advantage.
Absolutely. And then just
Casey, this is Bob. I'd just like to point out to any listeners that we've taken this lead that's come in from one of the residents of the two towns, and we've gotten down to a level where we've done a preliminary design and we've done a proposal which is going to show all the financial incentives and the cash flow of the system, and we haven't come out to your house. So in these days of COVID, where everybody's a little concerned about people they don't know coming to their property, we have not come out to the house yet.
Right. No, that's a good point. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. I should have reiterated that a couple times, but no, Bob's spot on. I mean, in this day and age, we've been very conscious of it, or aware of that, as everybody has. We were lucky enough to be able to kind of work through this time kind of as an exemption, all working from home, but now somewhat back in the office, observing some working from home and social distancing guidelines, of course, like everybody is. But yes, that's a key point, is that we can really, really get very dialed in to what that cost is going to be and what that design is going to generate, just from satellite imagery. So this is all prior to having visited the site. Down the line, as we'll get into further in the presentation, of course, we're coming to check measurements and things like that. But yeah. So to give you an idea of just what you'll be able to see, you have some information about A-Solar, which I've talked plenty about. It's going to show you a before and after, so give you a snapshot. If we have your electric bill, we can plug in, what your electric usage was. Estimate what those service charges were and kind of what you were paying throughout the year to give you, what your current costs are. We'll give you a layout of the system. This is showing exactly like we've shown before, a clip just from the helioscope design. So it'll show you the layout and then the system size, how much the system is anticipated to generate, and then a breakdown of the equipment and then the incentives. So you see here, total cost. And then after the SMART program benefits, yep.
Casey, I don't know if we can see your screen. Is anybody, unless it's just my computer, I'm still on the first page of this design.
Yeah, I'm on the same page too, Casey.
Oh, okay.
I can visualize the page you're describing. I've seen it about 1,000 times, so I know what to look for.
All right, hold on. Let me try this one more time. Okay.
There you go.
All right. Apologies. As I was saying before, this would be the breakdown that I was discussing and not illustrating of your current energy usage. Show you the breakdown of the system, size, and then here's the breakdown of the incentives. How much the SMART program can benefit, the federal tax credit, as well as the state tax credit. And then,
worth noting too, if I might just add to that, like one of the beauties of Solarize in general is the fact that the pricing is pre-negotiated, right? So that whole aspect of, am I getting a good deal? Am I getting taken advantage of? Should I be paying less? Or,
right.
It's that whole question is kind of out of the equation in your decision making. So this just shows you, 33 panels, you're paying just over 34 grand for that full installed price. It's all priced through the Solarize campaign. And this is just worth noting, our top of the line, the best panel we offer inside or outside of Solarize. This is the best panel we have right now. So
yeah.
Just to give you a quick idea.
Yeah, and also mention that this is considered a larger system, right? At 12
Correct.
kWdc.
That's true.
The average system size we sell is probably in the 8 range.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a fair point, Bob. Thank you. So, right, if any of the numbers are looking alarming to you, I mean, again, that's as Corey mentioned, the top of the line, the best panel that we offer. In addition to that, a larger than kind of average system. So, the last point that I'll show here is with that proposal, we'll also give you a breakdown of that sort of cash flow analysis. So, showing you the sort of upfront costs, what you're going to receive from, or anticipated to receive from, the SMART program, broken down month by month. Pardon me. As well as the savings on your electric bill, so what it's going to offset. And then from here, we'll see, it's actually really good. So just over 6 years, have achieved that sort of complete return on investment, full payback period. So that's just to give you an example of the proposal that we will provide for you. Switch back here. All right. And since we were just touching on incentives, I'll have Colby, who's our social media manager, plus my partner in crime here, explain the incentives.
Yeah, thank you, Casey. I know you and Corey touched on this a little bit already, but this is just a handful of the incentives available to everyone in Massachusetts. So the first one is the federal ITC. This is really the only one that's a little time sensitive right now. You can claim up to 26% of the cost of your solar installation, but that's only for the year of 2020. This will be available the following year, but it does step down to 22%. And we also have the SMART program, and this is just available to Massachusetts residents and businesses. And it's funded by the Department of Energy Resources and the local utilities in Massachusetts. And this program actually pays you to go solar. So they're going to be sending you a check every month for 10 years for you to be producing your own solar energy. So on top of your savings, you're actually getting paid. And that really doesn't happen in a lot of other states. And lastly, we also have some great loans available for solar in Massachusetts. So a lot of them are $0 down and they're low interest. They're also designed to be less than your electric bill is already. So you're really saving from the beginning.
Moving on to the next. Yeah, so here we'll talk through kind of the timeline for installation. So we've talked through everything up until you're receiving a proposal. So let's say that you enjoyed seeing that proposal and you wanted to move forward. We will execute a contract. We would then schedule a site visit. This is where we're going to take exact measurements of the roof areas, making sure that we have those correct, investigating the attic space, kind of the other side of where we're going to install, looking around the electric panels and assessing your current electric situation to kind of plan ahead for that installation, as well as the meters on the outside of the house. After that, we will put together a kind of final design, what we call an approval page. We will send that over to you, and then once everything's been fine, we can also make adjustments if need be. But once you're comfortable with everything, you can sign off on that, and we will get started with the next fun step of permits and requesting permission from the utility companies. So through that process, a lot of back and forth. Everything's handled in-house, so it's not anything that we'll task you with. Might be some documents to sign along the way, but generally speaking, we're able to handle that completely. Once all of that's in order, we get all the permits in order and everything set, then we will, if I'm not missing anything, schedule the installation. On that day, we'll have project manager be on site to kind of kick things off and make sure we're all on the same page. That'll be installed. I say one day because it sounds fun, but maybe 1 to 2 day installs typically. From there, once everything's been completed, we will request the sort of final permission from the utility companies, close out the permits, and then get you permission to operate, or PTO. And then from there, we'll have you up and running on clean energy, and then we'll send you a packet after all. After all is said and done. Used to be a physical binder. These days, in this day and age, we've switched digital. So now we'll send you a kind of digital packet with all the information about your system, the contracts, invoices, designs, all that information. I know I had Alden on here as well, but I hope, guys, I didn't minimize anything that everybody else does.
Well, this is Bob again, Casey. Just one of the steps that you left out after we have final design is that the structural information on the property that we gathered during the site visit is reviewed and stamped by a structural engineer, and that typically is done before we apply for building permits, but not before we apply for interconnection with the utility, right?
That's no problem. Thank you. Our engineer would probably slap me on the wrist for overlooking their involvement in everything. So thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. All right. So that is everything we had as far as the presentation go. I have questions here, but yeah, I figured from here we can open it up to Q&A. I guess a couple of things I do want to reiterate. As Bob had mentioned, everything's remote, so we can really make this easy to start, and we're really cognizant of the situation that everybody's in. So we're mindful of that and can do everything to kind of meet your needs. And yeah, I think those are the only things I wanted to follow up on. So I'll open it up now, and if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer.